Morning and welcome to Odd Jobs. Today we're going to talk about just trying to get positioned here. We're going to talk about red flags, how to recognize them in yourself and in your clients, but more importantly in yourself, because this is going to make you a better customer. What's the word? Customer sensitive a contractor, because your clients do provide you with a living. Okay, our first point up. What do we got here? If you're a contractor going into a job, you don't have proper licensing and insurance. Um, uh, this is a big red flag for a customer, and it's a red flag that you need to address. Licensing. Um, Licensing is a dicey issue. There's a lot of unlicensed contractors out there, and quite simply, licensing means that you've paid the city, municipality, or county, or whatever municipal uh, office that regulates your area, that you've paid them a fee to do business in that area. So that's what licensing is. It has nothing to do with your qualifications. It has nothing to do with your skill level or your way of doing business. It's just a ticket saying that you're legally permitted to conduct business in this municipality. Licensing, not a big deal for most clients who understand what licensing means, but insurance is a big deal. Liability, accidents. When you're a contractor and you're getting into jobs that are in the tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars, there's some catastrophic losses that can be incurred, and insurance is a must. So if you're getting into jobs that you can't pay out of pocket, make sure that you're insured. Wow. I've never had to use it, but I'm glad it's there, just in case it happens. For sure. Any takers? Any takers? No takers on that. Good to see. Good to see. Um, Lack of references or past projects. I don't carry around the list of references. I don't even ask my clients if I could use them as a reference. This is as far as contractors go. There's the good vibe thing that happens, and it's surprising in this day and age how many clients or how many customers out there go with the I like the guy, felt good, I think he knows what he's talking about, he's respectable, or he spoke to me in a way that I got it, I get it, I get this guy. And I'm going to say 80% of the jobs you get are going to be because the customer likes you, and so he would rather work with you than with other candidates, and that's a good thing. But it brings up a whole bunch of other issues that will soon, well, we'll get into those. Get into those. One of my favorite customers had said to me once, years ago, he said, we don't hire you because you're cheap, because you're not cheap. We don't hire you because you're the best, because you're not the best. We hire you because we like you and we like working with you. And that's a great compliment. And when you get a compliment like that, it means a lot. And it makes doing this kind of work, which is not glorious work, but it makes it worth it sometimes in here. And that's how it feels. Okay, go on with that. But if let's get back to the point. if you do come across a client that is looking for references and past projects, um, give them the projects that were challenging, the projects at which you had to overcome obstacles in order to get the results that you needed. Ones where your clients do like you, and will say good things about you without sounding insincere. So think of those clients, those repeat customers that you have that call you back for everything, to do more work, other works, and the ones that refer you, and get them to speak for you. It's not bad to have a few in your pocket. Those are usually the clients that you have already on your thing there. They're already in your contacts list. So say yes, call this guy. Chances are his name is Dave. Written estimate. This always shocked me because I've put in bids for jobs, and it's a simple spreadsheet. It's a simple thing. You just say who the client is, what their address is, their contact information, scope of the work, and you say materials will include or may include, but not limited to, a certain amount of whatever. Write it down, hand it to them, and say, I promise that we'll address these issues, and it'll cost you this much dollars on your bottom line. There's a lot of guys who call themselves contractors who just don't do that. They fly by the seat of their pants. Well, I fly by the seat of my pants, but I learned the value of a written contract, and it is a contract. And written or verbal, you make an agreement to provide a service for a given cost. And if the service isn't provided, you have no right to the cost. You can't get the reimbursement. So written estimate protects you as much as it protects the client. The client's going to use that written estimate to come back on you and say you didn't do this. And you're going to use the written estimate to say, I've done all this. Now it's time to pay. And use it to your advantage. All right. Yeah, nobody's speaking up. I guess everything's okay so far. High pressure sales is the big thing. Sometimes you're the contractor that's going in, and you're really trying to push. You're trying to push your value. You're trying to push what you can bring to the job. You're trying to push how much you can benefit the client, and forcing a client to make a decision on the spot. This is a dangerous job to do. It's a dangerous way to do business, because the more pressure you put a customer on, the more resistance you're going to get. You're going to get pushback. You're going to get all kinds of things throughout the entire job. It doesn't just end when they decide to hire you, which you're not giving them much of a choice but to hire you with high pressure sales. So knock it off. Don't come across as desperate. It's like begging for the job. It's like you may feel like this is the best opportunity that you're going to have, but you're going to blow it if you push the customer. Customer has to be comfortable with you right off the hop. I mean, we don't go into any kind of relationship without we don't go into any kind of relationship with a high pressure sale. That's horrible. I mean, if you wouldn't do this to your wife or your children, your siblings, then why would you do it to a customer? You do the same thing. You treat them with the kind of dignity and respect that you would want. And high pressure sales just doesn't end. So this is where we get to the other side of it. And it's the customer applying this tactic to you. This is a big red flag for the contractors too. When you see this, run. Don't be desperate for work. Customer will say to you, can you do it cheaper? Well, of course I can do it cheaper. What services do you not want me to provide? What type of materials do you want me to downgrade? What type of finish do you want me to not give you? Um, because what really is the value that you're bringing to the table. If a customer asks you, can you do it cheaper? Then you haven't sold them yet on your value, and you may never will. You may never. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to not get the job, because the job will end up costing you in the end. High pressure sale, get out of it. Get out of it right away. Just if you're talking to a potential client, they know in the first 7 seconds if they're gonna hire you or not, just based on that first impression, the first feeling that they get. Because you gotta think about it. You're in somebody's home. You're going to somebody's house. This is where they live. This is where they do all of their private stuff. They're inviting you into a very intimate part of themselves. So they're not going to just let anybody that they're not comfortable with into their home. Would you? I wouldn't. I need to be comfortable with people. I just don't have strangers coming to my house. So this is a tough way to go, but honestly, selecting your clients is just as important as being selected by a potential client. So feel good about it. They have to feel good about it, and you'll reach a good place. The benefits of not having high pressure sales and the benefits of not yielding to can you do it cheaper all comes out in the attitude that you have when you're there doing the work. If you go in with the can you do it cheaper and you do it cheaper, your level of resentment rises with each passing day. And all you can think of by the time you're 60% way through the job is that I'm losing money. I'm losing money. I'm losing money. There's no enjoyment in that kind of job. And the same when you put a high pressure sales use high pressure sales tactics and basically force somebody to hire you or make it uncomfortable for them to the point where they just hire you just to get through this time. You create a very chaotic and very dark. It's a bad place to be. Nobody wants to work in that environment. I mean, you'll struggle through it, but your customer's not going to be happy, not at all. And in the end, your customer's going to hold you to a very high standard that you may never be able to. Nobody may be able to attain. So take these ones very, very, very seriously. So when I learned the "Can you do it for cheaper" lesson, yeah, I decided no, I can't do it for cheaper, and you still get the business, you still get people calling you, you still get the customers that like having you around, who enjoy the work that you do, appreciate you, and all that kind of stuff, which in the end pays for itself. It's good. I'm not complaining. So get rid of the high pressure sales. Get rid of the can you do it cheaper. Nice. Okay, seems like we're just flying through these, but fortunately or unfortunately, I'm early in the morning and I've not. People haven't woken up. Upfront payment. I love upfront payment. Oh, please. Pay me for the entire job so that when I'm halfway through the job and I've already spent all the money that you gave me, I will be resentful in the finishing stages of the project. Don't ask your clients for upfront payment. That's a big red flag to the client, and it's a big detriment to your work attitude. Don't do it. Don't ask for it. Just don't ask for it. It might have been misleading, the title of this session, because the contractor red flags are not necessarily red flags to people who are hiring contractors. It's red flags for contractors too. Like, this is a big red flag for a customer. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because you're gonna I don't know, right off the hop it instills mistrust. you don't trust that your customer's going to pay you at the end of the job. It's telling, and the customer's thinking that, are you going to take my money and run? Um, and the first day that you have some kind of emergency, like another customer calls and says my pipes have burst in my ceiling and I can't shut it off, and you rush over there to fix it, and tell this client you won't be there today because you've got emergency. The client's going to think, oh my God, he's taking my money and run. I don't care what they say. You know, a couple of $1,000 is not worth running with, and it certainly isn't worth losing a reputation over. Don't do the upfront payment, and at the same token, don't accept no to a deposit. So no to deposit. Oh, this is coming from a customer's point of view. They're going to say no. You ask for a deposit, they say no. Well, if you have problems getting a deposit out of them, you're going to have problems getting a payment out of them. You're going to have a problem finishing that job. Oh my God, it's going to get nuts. Any client out there that has a problem giving a deposit to cover materials is a customer that doesn't want to part with their money, and so it's a tough thing. Anyway, how I get past that one? Well, I just say, listen, okay, I understand. There's probably $1,500, $2,000 worth of materials. They don't have to be big jobs. But honestly, if I have 6 jobs on the go and each one is taking $2,000 in materials out of my pocket, now my cash flow has been reduced by 12 grand. I don't expect any small contractor like me to be able to handle it. We don't do $1 million operations, right? So in that case, you simply say to the customer, listen, here's an itemized list of all of the items I need, all of the supplies and the materials that I need on the job site. Here's all the SKU numbers. Go to wherever, Rona, Home Depot, Lowe's, Home Hardware, I don't care where you go. But these are the materials, no substitutions. When you have them here, then call me and I will do the work. And by the way, on that written estimate that I gave you, it shows what the materials costs were. I'll deduct that from the estimate. How's that? Is that fair? That way, I'm not out of pocket for materials, and you get your materials that you would eventually be paying for anyway. That way, if I don't show up, at least you can take the materials back, get your money back, you cheap bugger. Should I have said that? No, I shouldn't have said that. But too late now. I can't take it back. That's the deal with deposits. And I've seen other websites, jobs, whatever, where people say that contractors should never ask for money up front, and that's just not true. I mean, if you're having a working relationship with the customer's got to understand that, you'd be paying for it one way or another. You either buy the materials now or you reimburse me later. Some things it's no problem, right? But I'm not gonna take a job with a client I've never worked with before and not take a deposit. By the same token, I've dealt with repeat customers in a different fashion. I'll float the entire job. I know they're good for it. I know they're good for it. They're good people, and you end up attracting good people if you treat them like good people. Hopefully that's the case because they are good people. So if you see if you're kind of don't ask for an upfront payment, and don't say no to get the deposit. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Okay. No problem. What do we got next? What is this? Overpromise. Oh my God. You know what? This is something I've done only once. It cost me too much money. I had too much money. My reputation. jobs that cost you money is a great learning experience if you take advantage of the learning experience, and promise yourself you'll never do that again. The embarrassment of over promising, not being able to deliver is hard to live with. So don't go there. Just say, you know what, I'm gonna do my best. And there's the balance of this. And anybody who's watched any of my past videos of stuff, and I'll say I've never done this before, but here we go. Let's see what happens, and those kinds of things. You got to remember, these are things I'm doing at my home. I'm quite willing to take that kind of risk, and that the worst thing that can happen is it's something I'm able to deal with, and I'm going to say yes, and so I go ahead and do it. Knowing full well that if I fail, then it's all on me. There's such risks that you don't take with a customer. So you don't promise a customer you can do something you've never done before. That's just retarded. It's pure and simple. Don't do that. You can do your best. I have on occasion went and done a job that I've never done before, and it's like, you know what, somebody who's got a lot of experience with this might charge you $6,000 for this job, but considering that I've never done this before, it's not fair for me to charge you that much, because you know it may cost us a little bit more in the end. So you do it for a little bit less. You do it with the understanding that if it gets to a point where you can no longer continue with this job, that the customer is okay with bringing in somebody else. It's tough, or just say, no, I can't do it, I'm sorry. Try a lot of things, and you have a lot of customers that are willing to let you experiment on their dime. Remember, they're paying you. So there's an education that comes with that, and that education might mean reducing your rate for that one particular type of job that you've never done before. So that's a tough one, but just avoid it altogether, and just don't overpromise. And it sounds good when you're going in with the customer, looking at the job, and he showed you something that it might be beyond your skill set. You be honest with them. You tell them up front, you know what? Thanks for thinking of me in this opportunity, but I've never done this before. I mean, I think I can do it. I mean, I've got the skill set because I've done all these other things, but I've never done that. So I'd have to learn a little bit more about it before starting that job. If you're okay with that, I mean, I'm willing to pay to learn if you're willing to allow me the opportunity to learn. And it's gonna cost me money, not you, Mr. Customer. So instead of charging you $1,200 to do that job, maybe I'll only charge you $800 or $700. I mean, I've just paid for my education, right? That's how I think about that. The opposite is when the customer believes that you have not fulfilled your obligation and is withholding final payment. This is a great thing, and we can go back, way back to where is it? The written estimate. This is going to save you when withholding a final payment arises, because if you have a written estimate, it supersedes everything. It does. I mean, verbal contracts are legal. You know, the he said, she said, it's all about your credibility. Anyway, so, but in the end, if the customer is withholding final payment, the written estimate will give you the legal grounds, I believe, to force payment out of him. Withholding final payment usually comes from bad experience on it's the customer who's had the bad experience. Well, actually, you've had the bad experience too. You get the feeling deep down inside your gut that this guy's just not forthcoming, or this guy's just not um, he's not agreeable, or he's not easy to work with. He's not your kind of guy. You know, uh, you get that feeling early on, and it becomes a struggle to get things done. Or every time that you come up with a challenge, he kiboshes any type of solution that you may want. That he basically lost faith in you. Um, and where that comes from is nothing to do with you. It's all about the customer, and that's a shame. And withholding payment is the ultimate insult, I think. Um, that you know, and it comes from a bad place, and I don't like it that much. Sorry, I got some technical issues here. That's a bit high. There we are. My come on, stay there. Oh, all right. I guess that's just not going to work. I've got an issue. I've got an issue. I need a tissue. All right. We can talk more about that later. That and that. And which one do I want to get on to? Let's get on to this one. Yeah. And that one. Let's talk about those permits. Who needs a permit? Just do it. Right? I just want to dig a big hole in the ground and pump water out of it. Who needs a permit for that? Just do it. No, don't do it. And it works both ways, because there's a lot of contractors out there that will avoid permit jobs, and they'll just simply tell the customer, "Oh, you don't need a permit for that. Just do it." No, don't. If you don't know if you need a permit, if you think you need a permit for something, likely you need a permit. If the customer is asking for a permit, you better say to them, "You go get the permit." Because after all, in Ontario anyway, the homeowner is responsible for the permit, not the contractor. So don't be fooled. Absolutely don't be fooled and think the contractor's going to handle it. He's not. It's not up to him. It is up to the homeowner or an agent of the homeowner. Because the homeowner well, I say that residentially. In commercial, so like in rentals and this and that, sometimes there's rental property, what do they call them? Property management companies, this, that, and the other. And they take out the permit on behalf of the property owner. But in residential, in the homeowner is ultimately responsible for drawing a permit. So in Ontario, in the jurisdiction that I live in, municipality that I live in, a permit usually means drawings, usually means engineer drawings, that kind of thing. Contractors are not, at least small-time contractors like me, are not generally equipped with that. So that's a huge expense, and that's why small-time contractors avoid permits. I've been down that road, but I've also worked with enough property management companies and things of that nature that permits are, my God, they save you sometimes. Because when the inspection comes, and believe me, they end up coming, especially if it's, rental properties, there's always an inspection, right? The permits will actually give you the breakdown of what it takes, where specifically in the code you have to look for to gain compliance, and you do it, right? So when you decide that permits are not required for a job, like most repairs don't require a permit, and that's okay. Okay, away we go. Let's do the repair. Repair doesn't need a permit. And then be wary of the the client that says my uncle or my brother, my cousin, my I don't know, my sister's gynecologist did a renovation and they did it like this, and that's the right way to do it. Don't if you've got one of those, if you found a client like that that knows everything before you get there, then they're probably better off working without you, and you're probably better off working without them. Who wants that headache? Oh my God! So there's in the end there's someone for everyone, and you find them by just relaxing, being honest, and doing what I basically adopted is disclosure. Just be real, be honest, be true. Say what you mean what you say. Don't make promises you can't keep. Be genuine, be sincere. If you're not feeling it when you get to a property, if you're just not feeling like this is a place that you want to work, then no amount of money is going to make it happy. So deal with those, and you know what? Everybody's got a different vibe. Everybody's got a different tolerance for what they're willing to endure, or where they're able to work, or how they're able to do it. And that's to me that's ultimately the best case scenario, is that you work where you're happy, and you're happy where you work. And without that, then you're just making money. You're not building anything, right? And so small contractors, it's all about building relationships, and all these red flags, like some of these red flags, I'm looking at them and going, who does that? Why would anybody do that? Why would a customer be more concerned about withholding a payment, or not getting a deposit? Like, where in your life have you experienced such mistrust that you won't trust somebody whose livelihood depends on being paid with a deposit for materials? So in that case, you can't, or not that you can't. Just I don't know. I've done this long enough to know that I don't want to put myself in an environment where I'm not happy, and that's likely why my client list has gotten smaller. And actually, my client list hasn't gotten smaller. It's gotten more refined, and you end up, believe it or not, you end up attracting the people that are vibrate at the same frequency as you do. I don't know if you guys are into this woo-woo stuff. Anyway, but I really believe in this vibrational stuff, that the way that you think, the way that you communicate, and the way that you live your life, and you acquire all these things that contribute to your vibrational intensity or your vibrational frequencies, and that attracts people that are like you, that are vibrating on the same frequency as you, and all of these things. And I've found over the years that our best clients, our best customers, and our best experiences are shared with people who are pretty much the same as us, and that's something to be grateful for. Yeah, it makes being a contractor really interesting kind of thing. So I guess these red flags are more like caution lights in the end. Being able to recognize your parts of your behavior that may be off-putting to potential clients, or behaviors that your clients or your potential clients are having that should tell you that, you know what, maybe there's something more in here that I want to work with, because I've done a lot of weird stuff, a lot of odd jobs that if it wasn't for the client I was doing it for, I wouldn't get involved in that at all. but it's a good road. It's a good road to be on. And if you're one of these guys that you know, likes to experience something different every day, this is the gig for you. So even that, as a contractor, I don't fly under one flag. I'm not a renovation contractor or a plumbing contractor or anything contractor. I end up being an odd job contractor, which is kind of cool. And you know, when you've dabbled in a whole bunch of stuff and come out the other side as a problem solver, as a troubleshooter, and all that kind of stuff, you can turn the world pretty good. Anyway, thanks to everybody who's come out to check out this, which was my very first live stream. Thank you for your support and any kind words. It's going to this be broadcast again as a video up on my channel, Odd Jobs, and you can check that out later for parts that you've missed. Fill me up with a lot of content. I've covered a lot of stuff today, and I am sure there's a bunch of people out there that are saying, this guy's a clown, and a bunch of other people that are out there saying, you know what, this guy makes some sense. So tune in. I hope to do this again, and very soon. And if you're so interested, you can check out my newly released second channel called Hooked on Linux. Hooked on Linux is about Linux operating system, and it's helping people like you and me who aren't computer geeks excel at getting out of Windows operating system and into Linux. Anyway, you guys take care. We'll see you all.